goodness me, it's so entirely worth it. Am I stepping on toes? This is just advice that I wish someone had drilled into my brain. And your kids need to see your marriage thriving. I am again. I'm sorry. Please like me. I'm sorry. Please, please, please. Thank you. Sorry. Today, I would like to share with you all the things that I wish that I knew before I became a mum. Things I wish someone had told me. Things that I wish I'd have just known. That someone would have come up to me and said, hey, do you know that this is going to happen? Do you know that you could be feeling these things? Do you know this, 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 and this? And sometimes we just get unhelpful advice. And so here I am today trying to give you some helpful advice. Hello, my friends, and welcome to my channel. My name is Mia, and I love sharing all things motherhood and home and lifestyle and cozy, simple living here with you guys. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Let's get to it. And this one I struggle with a lot. Because I'm a natural people pleaser. I don't like it when people don't like me, or when they don't like what I'm doing, or when they have something against me. I don't enjoy it. It's a horrible feeling, but it's one that I'm really learning, and especially becoming a mum, I have to stand up for myself, and I have to be confident being a mum. So what I always say is, don't worry at all about what other people think. Unless you really trust them, you trust their advice, you trust who they are as a person and how they've raised their own families, you don't need to worry what they're thinking. You know, sometimes in a bizarre situation, I'll act a certain way to just please someone else or please them, which is really weird. And I don't know why I do it, but I absolutely want to let that go. And just do what you do. Do it well, do it as you're gonna do it. And don't worry what other people are going to think, because you're always going to get opinions. I mean, I'm at a loss here because I'm putting my life on the internet, which is a weird decision, but hey ho. But don't worry about what people think. You know what? You let it go and a freedom comes. True freedom is having absolutely nothing to prove. I think R.T. Kendall said that. True freedom is having nothing to prove, right? That one really set me free. On a practical note, I wish someone had told me that breastfeeding shouldn't be painful, and that if it is, then there's something that's going wrong, or the latch isn't quite right, or something needs to be changed, a position needs to be changed. I just wish someone had been extremely clear about that. Now, they were, to be fair, once I'd given birth, and that was an amazing thing, because I took that advice. And if I ever felt pain while I was breastfeeding, I would take my little finger, unlatch the baby, and change the position, and redo and retry, because you don't have to be in pain. Now, of course, every mama is different and every baby is different. Some have tongue ties, etc. But generally it shouldn't be painful. So speak to a lactation consultant, speak to midwives. There are breastfeeding support groups that are going to be really useful to you if you just like support from other mums. You can sit, breastfeed, have a cup of coffee, and go. What a lovely experience. Have a chat as well. But changing the position and relatching my baby was an absolute game changer. As soon as I felt pain, no. I mean, granted, okay, there's a difference between pain and then a weird sort of letdown feeling, an uncomfortableness, because sometimes milk letdown is uncomfortable, sometimes we are clogged, and things like that. So there are certain issues that can happen in regards to the pain area of breastfeeding, but I'm talking about pain, oh, I just spat. Sorry, but I'm talking pain, and that if you experience this intense pain, it probably is because something's going wrong. And again, speak to whoever you trust in that scenario and to a healthcare provider. But yeah, that was great advice when I received that when I had my babies. Okay, this one is in regards to birth and your care sort of thing. Speak up for yourself. You can do it. If you're anything like me, you might be bad at it. Hats off to you gals that are good at this, because I just think it's amazing. And I love being around people that just sort of say it how it is, because it inspires me and encourages me to do that myself. But tell them what you want. Tell them what you don't want. Speak up for yourself. If they're saying you need to lie back and have your legs up in the air, you can just say no, and you can just say no, I'm going to stand up. For me, I had to be on all fours and I had to be absolutely still. midwives would ask me to move, and if it wasn't for a reason that was absolutely necessary, then I would say, no, I'm actually going to stay here. Can you monitor the baby in this position? Can the doctor come and check while I'm still sat here? You don't need me lying down on a hospital bed. Now, of course, listen to the midwives and the doctors, because they tend to have your concern in mind. Sometimes they don't. I've heard bad stories, but generally speaking, I think that they do. So I'm not saying completely ignore everything that they're saying, but I'm saying speak up for yourself enough to reason and enough to hear the other side of the opinions and why they do what they do, because if you don't, then you're just doing something out of compliance, and that's not always the way to do anything, really. We want to be able to reason, to stand up for ourselves. Now, listen, if you know me, then you know I'm rubbish at that, so this is just advice that I wish someone had drilled into my brain before becoming a mum, because sometimes you have to stand up for yourself. This one has me passionate. This one, we are talking about body insecurity, specifically post-birth, mum body, anything in that sort of realm. Now, I grew up as a dancer and a musical theatre performer. I am in that by trade. That's what I did professionally before I had kids. Brutal, absolutely brutal. Dance training, not good in terms of insecurity, my experience. Told you fat all the time. So I've always struggled with how I view my body. Becoming a mum completely changed my body. I went from, I'm not saying I'm got a particular shape or anything like that. I'm just saying that I went from super slim, athletic to a normal body. What happens in our minds is absolutely incredible, don't you think? Sometimes we derail into I must get back to this body. And for some reason in my mind, I'm referencing my 16-year-old body, my teenage body, and not the body that I have in my 20s as a woman, as a fully developed woman. Some people bounce back post-birth. That's fine. Good for them. Doesn't mean anything. Some people don't. That's fine. Good for them. It doesn't mean anything. I wish we would stop placing so much emphasis on our appearance and our body image and whether we have a little muffin top or we've got a bit of a thigh or thighs, because we tend to have two. Why do we do that to ourselves? Why do we waste so much of our mental energy on something so extremely futile when our bodies have done this incredible, amazing thing? We have produced humans. Humans have come out of our bodies. And yet we're like, oh, but the way it gave me my muffin top is just horrendous and I hate myself. Look at your baby. Look what you just did. Also, don't speak like that in front of your children, in front of your girls, in front of your boys even. They're listening. They're listening and they're taking it on board. I don't want to preach at you. I feel like I'm getting a bit too passionate. Let me just take a step back a second. I'm sorry. Here I am again. I'm sorry. Please like me. I'm sorry. Please, please, please. Thank you. Sorry. Anyways, okay, so what I'm trying to say is stop focusing on that. Fine, be healthy, drink your green juice, whatever it is that makes you feel healthy. Quit social media. Quit running if that's causing an unhealthy mindset. Quit exercising. Reduce exercising if you're absolutely and entirely obsessed to the point where you can't focus on your children and your family anymore. Am I stepping on toes? I'm just saying that it's so sad that we waste so much mental energy on it. And don't worry, I've been there. Like I said, I've struggled with eating problems, with body image, all of the above, everything that I've just said. I've been there and I've struggled and I'm slightly on the way out. And as soon as I realized that is just not what is important in life. Okay, another one that I wish someone had told me is to focus on your marriage and the love that you have for your spouse. Because when you have kids, your focus changes. Even in terms of when you're sat with your friends, if you've got kids in the room, it's so easy for focus to change. Focus to all be on the kids, all be what they're doing, what they're saying, all be on that. And especially in our marriage, all we can talk about is the kids. Our whole life is consumed with kids. We don't have any time for each other anymore, and when we do, I don't have mental capacity to talk. All of these things happen, and it's very normal, and I think it happens to most couples. But those that you think it isn't happening to is because they're making the effort for that not to happen, if that makes sense. And your kids need to see your marriage thriving. They need to know the security of the love that you have for one another far outweighs even the love that you have for them. So hug your spouse, make time for them, date them, get a babysitter, tell your kids how much you love them, tell your kids how much you love their daddy. Ask your spouse questions, keep talking, just keep talking. That was one of the best bits of advice I got before I got married. My husband and I got married, I was 21 and he was 22. And the ladies in my church threw an evening for me. And they just got around me and shared advice. Old, young, early in marriage. I'd been married for years, widows. They shared information with me and wisdom with me, and it was beautiful. There were two things that stuck out. One sounds silly, but snoring is the most beautiful music in the world. Ask any widow. Wow. It sounds silly at first. You hear it and you start to giggle, and then you hear the end and you think, oh my word, what's right in front of us? Our marriage is going to go beyond our kids. Our kids will move out. Our kids will grow up and have their own families. And it's going to be you and him left in the house. And so if you're not focusing on him, it's going to feel really weird. Now, we're working on this. We're not perfect at all, but it's something that I aspire to. A second piece of advice I got is, like I said earlier, keep talking. Just talk about anything, literally anything. It's easier for me to do. I'm a bit of a chatty person, in case you can't tell. Just keep talking, keep having conversations. Don't resort to TV all the time. Don't resort to mobile phones. Mobile phones sound very old. I hope you hear me. I feel very preachy. I don't want to be preachy. I just am trying to share what's really helped me in the few years that I've been a mum. This one is an interesting one because I think in the world of Pinterest, of Instagram, of even YouTube, we think that having children is always aesthetically pleasing and life is beige and beautiful and boho or whatever keywords you want to be inserting into that sentence. And I think we have such a skewed perspective on what it means to actually be a mum and to have kids. Life is not aesthetically pleasing. For some people, the select few, yes, it might be, but even those on YouTube, even on Instagram and Pinterest, they're taking pictures, taking videos and reels and recording the very select moments in life. And I had this picture before, I had a Pinterest board on my kids and my future and my life. It would always be this beige aesthetic. It would be beautiful and there wouldn't ever be any crying. That my kids would always just be perfectly posed for shots in their nice beige and brown outfits, and they would never, there would never be poo spillages and broccoli wiped on their face and snot dripping down their nose. That was never really a consideration in my mind. Just want to set the precedent that life is so real with kids, and having kids is just messy and it's chaotic and it's beautiful and lovely. So let go of your aesthetic perspective. Let go of your Pinterest boards. I think vision boards and things like that are good and fine, but I think letting go of that perspective that we have, that kids are always these, or our kids are going to be these beautiful beige babies that wear neutral colours and never want to dress like Disney princesses or like cowboys, as they do. The next one that I would like to share with you guys To you expecting mums, to you that want to know more about what it means to be a mum, is that life is hard. Now, I know we want to hear that life is going to be great with kids and it's going to be amazing. And I'm not saying it's not going to be. It's going to be absolutely worth it. But sometimes life is hard. And when we shift our perspective, and I've spoken about this before, if you're new to my channel, then do check out my other videos. We need a mindset shift. And I think if we go into motherhood thinking, this is going to be quite hard, then we're almost prepared for it. We're prepared for the difficult days. And then when you have easier days, they're a plus and a bonus and a lovely thing. And I don't want to be a downer, but I also don't want to just say that life is always easy and beautiful with children. Life is hard and it will be difficult. You know, there are so many different things to navigate when you become a mum. Things like postpartum, some people struggle with depression, some experience loss and grief while having a newborn, some experience immense joys and immense lows. So I'm just going to caveat this and say life is hard. And we experience so many different emotions and experiences as individuals. That's not a bad thing, and it's going to be hard and you're going to be tired. My goodness me, it's so entirely worth it. I don't want to just, you know, be cheesy and say things that, oh, of course she's going to say that, you know, but I do want to be really real with you guys. The last one is don't worry about the judgment you're going to get from others. You parent how you parent. And like I said earlier, take wisdom and advice from those that you trust and from the Bible. If you're a Christian, I'm a Christian, so I take wisdom from the Bible and people at church and things like that. But just don't focus on the judgment that you will receive, because that's the fallen world for you. We all judge. So these were somewhat practical, more emotional, more mental, more mindsets. But I think that governs how we do everything else as a mum, as a parent. Motherhood is hard. If we have a different mindset, then life changes, doesn't it? All right, well, I'll probably leave it there. It's nice to chat. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope this was at all useful. I'd love it if you'd join this community. I'm new to YouTube. I love being here. I'm here for the long run. Please do subscribe. It really helps this channel. We're small. See ya. Take care. It was really nice hanging out with you and having an honest chat. I'll see you in my next video. Ta-ta, as we say where I'm from. Ta-ra. That's what we say. We don't say ta-ta. We say ta-ra. Ta-ra, duck. That give you any clue where I might be from. All right.